Ready, set, secure.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Morrison with Set Solutions, here to talk to you about how you can sync your existing AD objects to the cloud using Microsoft solutions. So first, to avoid naming confusion, let's cover some of the Microsoft identity services in use today. So up top is Active Directory, commonly referred to as AD. I think we're all intimately aware of this solution at this point. Then there's Azure Active Directory. So this is Microsoft's cloud-based identity and access management service. This is the solution that we'll be speaking about today to sync your AD identities into. Then there is Azure Active Directory Domain Services. So this is where things get a little bit more confusing. You could think of this as AD in the cloud managed by Microsoft. So while you don't have to manage the domain controllers or underlying operating system, you still get things like domain join and group policy and such. Now, it does have some limitations. So we typically only see it in very specific use cases. I'm not going to go into more depth on AADDS today, but if there's a demand, I could certainly make a video in the future. And then there's Microsoft Intra. This is a family of products from Microsoft that encompass all identity and access management capabilities they provide today. So while a lot of this was existing solutions that Microsoft had, some of it is new, like decentralized identities and cloud entitlement management and stuff like that. So pretty much though that anything Azure AD and identity related and access management from Microsoft, they're going to fall under this banner now. So as a part of that, we did get a new centralized dashboard to consolidate a lot of this functionality. So that was really good. You're also going to see administration move over to the new Intra Admin Center as we move along. So, all right, now the sync tools. So let's actually talk about how you can get those AD identities synced to the cloud so you can begin taking advantage of all the hybrid identity benefits. So the two primary solutions provided by Microsoft today are Azure AD Connect and Azure AD Connect Cloud Sync. So at some point you might have heard of DirSync and Azure AD Sync, but by and large those have been replaced. So first is Azure AD Connect. This is a lightweight application that you install on your own servers. You'll manage. You can install it on a domain controller, but we do recommend that it's installed on a dedicated server. And so here, this is where the sync engine is going to live and the actual configuration for this. It does have a small database requirement, but it can run on SQL Express. You're not going to be managing SQL queries or SQL jobs or anything like that. Administration is still and configuration is still going to be done within the Azure AD Connect application. Then we have Azure AD Connect Cloud Sync. So with this, you can think of it like Azure AD Connect as a service from Microsoft. So on here, you just install an agent on your own servers. You can install multiple agents for redundancy. And the actual sync engine and configuration, though, lives on the Microsoft side. So you don't have to manage those. And both of these are included in your Azure AD subscription at no additional cost. All right, so Azure AD Connect. Again, an application that you install on one of your own servers. As you can see here in the configuration, you just point it to a single forest if that's what you have, but it also supports syncing multiple forests. The big thing, though, is there is a ratio 1-to-1 on Azure AD Connect servers and your Azure AD tenant. So you cannot sync multiple Azure AD Connect servers to a single Azure AD tenant. For the most part, though, most organizations can get by with a single Azure AD tenant. Very rare to see that they need more. But once you have that deployed, that's when you can start syncing your AD objects. So your users, your devices, your workstations, you can sync them up to Azure AD. You can unlock benefits like MFA, SSO to cloud applications, hybrid joining of devices for Intune and Defender for endpoint, stuff like that. It's really cool. All right, so Azure AD Connect Cloud Sync. So again, you install the agent on premise, but the sync engine and configuration are going to live on the Microsoft side. So most of what we can do with Azure AD Connect, we can do with Cloud Sync. It does have some limitations, though, like you can't sync device objects, you can't do password write back, and stuff like that. But the really cool thing, though, is that they can actually be deployed in tandem. So first image just kind of shows it deployed by itself, but you can see in the second here that you can deploy Connect in one forest and then Connect Cloud Sync in another, if that's what you need to do. So in situations where you didn't want to open up line of sight to your Connect server for multiple forests, this could be one use case. Now, something else, though, that might drive you to deploy both in tandem is a new feature specifically brought in from the Connect Cloud Sync agent is HR-driven provisioning with Azure AD. And so what this is that you can have identities created in your HR system automatically sync to AD or Azure AD instead of your HR teams and payroll teams having to create tickets and your operations teams going and creating those. So really cool. Now, quick call out, while neither one of these sync services have an additional charge to deploy, some specific features like HR-driven provisioning could have additional cost depending on your existing Microsoft 365 license bundles. All right, guys. I know this was just a quick summary on how you might onboard AD into Azure AD in your environment, but I hope it gave you something to work from to better understand this acronym-heavy space. If you have any questions on any of these products or need help modernizing your identity program, Set Solutions is here to help. So we'd be happy to discuss where you are in your cloud journey and cover some of the latest best practices in the space. Thanks again, and until next time.